my sister and I talk a lot about it in person, about how we hate the topic.
It's kind of like sustainability.
Well, I mean, we're two sisters who farm together. So we are two women and egg.
Okay. So you've admitted it then.
Yes.
Okay. Step
but
one.
I think that you're giving me some steps right now. Hey, we don't often get to some of the real difficult conversations around women and egg. And there's women throughout the industry, working in different capacities, often as farm wives as well, and in supporting roles. And I think the issue is how we value those. And, I always say, like, often women or a wife will do the books on the farm, but I mean that you can't run a business without the books being balanced. So I think it's just in how we value some of these roles. And, I'd like to see a lot more women as primary producers. And I think that it is up to, your environment and your industry to kind of support that as well. And part of that is having expectations, because I think that as young girls, my sisters and I were treated like boys and expected to, my sister did most of the seeding when she was in high school or just after high school. And we were expected to show leadership and take initiative and work hard. And, if we screwed up, we heard about it. So it wasn't like we were treated like nobody expected much of us. And so because, when somebody expects something of you, I think you perform better and you take more initiative. So I think that kind of set things up for us. Right. And when we were younger, like I always knew I wanted to farm. Like when I was 11, I said, hey, I want to farm. And my dad and uncle were like, that's awesome. Great. You will do really well. But the path to the farm was a little different than what I had in mind. And that's part of the personal growth journey, I think.
Is that unorthodox in your opinion to be raised in that environment for #women in ag in general?
Where you had opportunity to farm when you were young?
Where you said you wanted to farm and everybody around you said, absolutely, you have every opportunity to farm. Let's do this.
I think it is. I think that a lot of women don't know it's an option. And I think that a lot of people think about it perhaps with less favor than if you're a man or you're a son. The son is the farmer. The daughter is, she can work in ag. She can be an agronomist. But, I even think my mom comes to the farm often and rides in equipment. And the other day she saw my sister and I fixing the boom on the sprayer. And she said, I'm really worried about you girls. They're working so hard. And I was like, this was not a busy day. This was not a stressful day. We literally moved the boom, put the cable back on, and we're good. But I was like, Mom, I think that you're saying this because we're your daughters. And this is not what you envision for women. And you're not even aware of it. And she was like, no, I don't think so. And whatever. But it's just one of those things, right? It's not as common, I guess.
The only thing we'd ever worry about with boys is that they don't work enough.
Yeah. And that's
so it's a double standard.
It is totally a double standard.
Part of your mother who was, raised in a certain generation, a certain way.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is, to me, the good part of Women in Ag. And I think it has a place to let women know that there can be equal opportunity to support the women in their endeavors to be involved, and I don't know that there's anything wrong with it in the sense that any sort of focus group that gets people into agriculture, like to me, there's a vast opportunity with immigrants in agriculture. We need,
absolutely.
There was an awesome article the other day. I think it was in the Grain News about a farmer. I know him a little bit. He's from Carmen. I forget what his last name is. I think it's Phrase, but he had a couple guys working at the local store there. I don't know. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. They're from India and they started working on his farm because they had a background in agriculture.
Yeah.
So I think, whatever group it is, if it's a minority and they may not have, even footing or the same platform or relative opportunity to who we think would be the archetypal farmer.
Yeah.
Being the oldest son.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest son, but I got kicked off the farm, right? But I have a podcast. I don't own land.
That's what happened, eh?
I have to build equity in a podcast because I don't own land. But And yet there's a little bit of calibration or hesitancy to make sure that we're getting the messaging right. And I think, and we don't want to make it something that turns people off with good endeavors, I think. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about diversity. And it's such a cliche word, and it's not rocket science. Like if you're Dan from Southeast Saskatchewan and I'm Katie from Regina area, hey, we're a little different. We might have a different opinion. It's not rocket science. But I think our overall appetite for diversity gets stretched a little bit, or, we're a little bit uncomfortable around people who don't think and look just like us.
I feel like your level of acceptance towards me, given that I live in Brandon, is actually lower than I would like to see in a liberal society.
So I said Southeast Saskatchewan, Brandon, close enough.
You're like horrified. You're like, what? Where are you habitating? I'm the only small town Saskatchewan farm boy that ever went east, and nobody knows what the hell happened to me when I show up at the cabaret.
You're really wearing that, hey?
I wear that. I own that, amongst other things. But